Stakes Takes podcast, dropping week 9. It's hot. Dropping like it's hot. You already know what it is. We've been hitting bets all year. Finally dropping the content. It's taken a while since I dropped the solo podcast. Back with this solo podcast under a new name, Hot Stakes Takes. I think that's as saucy as it gets. As saucy as it gets. So right now we got week 9 NFL bets. We got prop bets. We got over-unders. We got money lines. We got spreads. Give me it. And we got soccer. We're talking Bundesliga. We're talking Premier League. Give me it. We're even talking Liga NOS. We got Benfica and Braga on the board. So, definitely a spicy Sunday. We're getting into it. First things first, we got Chicago plus 6.5. Chicago plus 6.5. It's risk reward. Just like my next one after this one. Chicago's playing Tennessee. Tannehill's been playing like buns. Chicago plus 6.5. Give me it with Montgomery in the run game. And Foles getting at least a tutty on the board thrown for at least 250. I'll give me that. Moving on to Denver versus Atlanta. We got Takk McKinley out. We got Dante Fowler out. How you going to rush a quarterback? And you're already not that good on defense. Give me Denver plus 4. Just to be safe, I'd add them to cover the spread. Me, I go after the money. Chicago's like plus 240. We got Denver at plus, I think, 140 or 160. So, even though Denver's going on the road, it's a dome game. You got Calvin Ridley most likely out. So, Denver's defense, they play solid. But also, Denver's defense, they're also missing A.J. Boye. So, getting him from Jacksonville this year, A.J. Boye, missing him, that's definitely a big missing piece on the outside edge. So, Julio's probably going to turn up. Go pick up Russell Gage in your fantasy leagues. Start him in FanDuel. Start him in DraftKings. That's for a little later on. So, let's get to the locks. Locks of the week. We got Las Vegas Raiders versus the LA Chargers. Spicy game. That's just going to be high scoring. And I can't wait. Got the over 52.5. That has since changed to 53. Still give me that. New Orleans versus Tampa Bay, the Sunday night football game. Who doesn't like some Sunday night football? Come on. Over 50 and a half. Give me that all day. The next one, we got prop bets. That's the only one I'm locked in on for the NFL games. Don't really want to risk it, you know what I mean? You can risk on maybe Denver, Chicago. You could call that a risk. I'm looking at the upside, so I think it's a solid bet. I will separate Denver and Chicago from my Raiders in that New Orleans game. I will separate those both. But I will add those two locks, the Raiders versus the Chargers and New Orleans versus Tampa Bay overs. I will add them to my soccer bets because adding those together, it's almost like taking candy from a baby. It's like you're going to give me that much more money just for adding these games together. Don't get crazy with it. Don't just look at a game and be like, oh, that looks like good. It's going to hit. Like this game right now. Keep looking down at this Liverpool versus Man City. My squad. Over-under's at 3.5. I think that's for sure going to hit. A little risky, but you put in Yota at the striker with Firmino dropping in the cam. Man City can at least put up 1. I like Liverpool to put up at least 2 in this first half. They're working them. Sadio Mane down the left side. Oh, he cuts in. Firmino looks off this year. I don't know. His defensive work is solid, but he's turning into more of an attacking midfield. Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. Oh, they gave it to him. Sadio Mane is saucy. Let's go. That's good stuff. Let's see. Obviously, it's going to go to VAR, but fuck it. Alright, let's get on to these prop bets. On the Rhode Island Sportsbook app, you can't parlay prop bets with regular bets. I'm not sure. On FanDuel, I think I seen you could do that. And I think DraftKings, maybe. But if you can, parlay your prop bets with your locks, not your wrists. So, 2 prop bets I seen. I went through the whole slate. Nothing looks really good. I'll take the over on Evan Ingram. I didn't write it down, but I'll definitely take that just by going through his FanDuel and his stats over the past couple weeks, and with Golden Tate being out. I think I seen that like 43.5. I'll take the over on that for sure. We got 2 locks for the props. We got prop, lock, and drop it. Drop Russ Wilson and Mahomes, both getting set at 2.5 passing touchdowns. Russ set at plus 135 odds. That's a no-brainer. You're facing the Bills. Yeah, it's on the road, but you got good weather. In a game where Josh Allen is gonna put up good numbers. So I would take Seattle. I didn't write Seattle down. It's kind of risky because you never know with the Bills, especially now because they got Josh Allen and a couple running backs who could do some work. But Liverpool locked it in. Oh, he just butted it. That was pure power, bottom left, Mohamed Salah. Give me that. See? Well, we're in the 13th minute. Liverpool already scored 1. Like, over 3.5, that's money. But let's get back to this. Russ over 2.5 passing touchdowns. That man only has 1 game this year where he has under 3 touchdowns. And that was versus Miami. And that was a game where Miami kept it close to the very end, which doesn't happen anymore. Lock in Russ over 2.5 against Buffalo. We got Patty Mahomes taking on Carolina. Now, Carolina's secondary is trash. They get to the quarterback a decent amount. They're getting Gross Matos back today. It's money. That's all. That's all I have to say. Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns for Carolina. Carolina's probably gonna shut down Edwards-Helaire a good bit. He might get 15 for 70. Nothing crazy good, but Mahomes over 2.5 touchdowns versus Carolina. Carolina's probably gonna put up some points, just enough for the Chiefs to just put up 40 again. And that's set at plus 120. So go lock that in. If you could parlay those both, that's looking good. On to the soccer. We got Aston Villa versus Arsenal. That's the 2:30 game, 2:15 game. Over 2.5 at minus 150. Parlay that with Bayern Leverkusen versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. That over-under is at 2.5 minus 150. It probably changed by now because that game is gonna hit the over 3.5, and I also have that written down. Over 3.5 added market bet. That's at plus 150. That's with Thuram up front for Borussia Mönchengladbach and Leverkusen having Leon Bailey. It's money. As long as those 2 start, parlay the over 2.5 with the Aston Villa 2.5. And then Benfica versus Braga. If you've seen what Benfica did this weekend, or over the week, they just put up goals. They put up goals and they give up goals. And Braga, will they lose 3-0 to Leicester this weekend? Over 3.5 set at plus 130. That's just gonna add up your parlay. You add that in, 3-team parlay, plus 130. That's probably taking you to plus 600 odds. I hit a plus 450 odds for like 300 this weekend. Ridiculous. And make sure y'all check out the soccer, because that's where the money is. Yeah, you could win a little bit of money with the football, but that shit throws you off sometimes for sure. And make sure when you're looking at soccer, the away games are risky. This morning I just lost Tottenham. The away games are risky. So, hitting and missing. That's the life of betting, but as long as you're hitting parlays, you're always going to be up. So make sure you're using your noggin when you bet. It's Benfica versus Braga, last little bit of knowledge. 4 or more in 4 of the last 5 meetings combined. If you're scoring like that, then that's almost guaranteed to hit. So make sure you add that in your parlay. Onto the FanDuel. Onto the DraftKings. We got value picks for you. We got one for QB, one for running back, one for wide receiver, one for tight end, and we got a couple of defensives. Special teams, expensive, I guess, but as long as you're putting in value picks that are gonna just do as good, if not better, than that person rated like 7,000 or above. Just motorcycles riding by. But if that player is gonna do better than a player rated 7,000 or above, then lock it in. Because you want to make sure that defense turns up. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's too good to be true, but most of the time, like Ravens versus Indy today, Indy has a high rushing game. I think I seen the over-under on Phillip Rivers picks at -170, so that's almost guaranteed. So give me that, and the Steelers versus the Cowboys, that's lock it in anywhere you can. So at quarterback, Drew Lock, especially because Tack and Fowler are out. FanDuel, Drew Lock set at 7,200. That should free up a lot of money for your running backs, your wide receivers, and your tight ends. On DraftKings, he's 5,200. Maybe you could work something over there. My running back value of the week, lock of the week. If you get him on your fantasy wire, which you probably can't, go look. Justin Jackson, 5,900 on FanDuel, 4,900 on DraftKings. Facing the Raiders, who are 27th versus the rush. Justin Jackson has at least 5 targets the past couple weeks, so lock that in with some rushing attempts. He'll probably get at least 10 on the ground because Joshua Kelly hasn't really been doing much. So lock that in your FanDuel lineup. If you lock those two in, that frees up so much money. Moving on to wideout. I really think this guy is going to turn up with Calvin Ridley out. Russell Gage. We got AJ Boye out on Denver. Russell Gage is set at 5,400 for a wide receiver on FanDuel and 4,500 on DraftKings. Facing Denver, who's the 15th ranked versus the pass. But with Boye out, you got to move to like 25th. Like, there's no way you could just replace that. Like, they got rid of Chris Harris and replaced him with AJ Boye. That's how big of a player he is. So, moving on, at tight end, Evan Ingram, lock him in. I said earlier, lock him in on the 43.5. I'm starting him this week as my tight end over Hawkinson. It's probably risky, but I like Evan Ingram versus Washington, set at 5,500 on FanDuel, 4,300 on DraftKings. He has 19 targets over the past couple weeks, and that's with Golden Tate playing. You take Golden Tate out of the mix, Evan Ingram, that should free up a lot more touches. Not a lot more, but he might get 5 more looks. Last week he had 10 targets, week before that had 9. If you could get in 13 range, or if they rush the ball with him a couple times at the goal line, increases the odds of the fantasy performance. So moving, and that's versus Washington, who's 31st versus the tight end. That's almost my lock of the week if it wasn't for Justin Jackson. So moving on to defensive and special teams. I usually don't drop these. This is just like a throw out there. I already mentioned Steelers and Ravens. Steelers at 5,000, Ravens at 4,500. Kind of expensive, but you put in your values, it's definitely gonna hit. So, with that being said, I can't wait. Looking forward to McCaffrey returning this week. Looking forward to Michael Thomas returning this week. Not just in real life, but my fantasy team has been hurt. Since week 2. And it basically wasn't week 2 because McCaffrey scored and got hurt. So, it's going to be big for them to return. Antonio Brown, huge. I can't wait to watch that tonight. That shit's going to be huge, Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown on the field. And then Ravens picked up Dez Bryant last week, activated him off the practice squad just yesterday. Starting him today. Marquise Brown, his value is probably down, or definitely sign Dez to kind of coach him, because you can't be wilding out on Twitter, especially when you're in the NFL, and especially when you're a second-year player. Come on, let's be smart. So, can't wait to see those guys on the field. Dez Bryant's the first time in 3 years. That's insane. Fucking insane. So, that being said, get your DJ Dallases. Stay away from your Jordan Howards in Miami. Start your Chase Edmonds. Start your Ingrams, your Slaytons, and your Shepherds. And Hardman, DeMarcus Robinson. If I had to make a pick, give me D-Rob. Give me D-Rob on like a 50-yard pass. Give me that. That being said, High Stakes Takes podcast. Gonna be dropping every week. Gonna be dropping locks. Gonna be dropping results. And over this week, or for the next maybe 10 days, is international break for soccer. But after that, we be locking shit in during the week. Champions League, Europa League, and we be hitting, and we hit a lot. So come fuck with us. We're gonna be dropping locks every week, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to see what week 9 brings. So see y'all next episode. Make sure you subscribe. Moons, Artie Gz not here. My guy Luke Paid not here, but they will be, and they will be in the upcoming episodes, and they funny as a motherfucker. Send it. Deuces.